Hello, Ryan here from Baird&Warner, and I am very happy to be here with Patty at the Romney Brown Candle Company. And I've been very keen to come and interview you. I spoke to Steve Lawrence about you, who said wonderful things. And one of the reasons why I think it's so important to speak to you is you're a new business in town. So you have just made a decision to set up a business in Grayslake. So you chose Grayslake, like my buyers will choose Grayslake.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that, but let's start by just have a little bit of an introduction to you, Patty, and your connection to Grayslake.
So I moved to Grayslake about 4 years ago. My parents have been here forever, so I think I might have been in college when they were living here. So I used to live down in St. Charles, but for my job I traveled so much I moved closer because my parents helped watch the children when I traveled. So moved up here. My parents live about a mile away, so it's great. My mom will come over and watch the kids. My parents, they help out the shop too. They've literally been together since first grade. So
that's so cute.
They have been together for a very long time. So when I traveled, they would come and watch the kids, and I'd go do my corporate job. And then I decided that after COVID started, I would leave the corporate world and start a candle company, because there's nothing like this around here for people to do.
There's nothing like this anywhere. I don't think. I'm bowled over with the concept. What do you think your family sees in Grayslake? Because it's generational. What do they love about Grayslake?
Well, actually, we all love Grayslake. I mean, the schools are great. My son, we moved up here when he was going into 8th grade. So the world was coming to an end because he's going into 8th grade. He was born in St. Charles.
Right.
His life is St. Charles. So
All his
it
friends.
took a lot.
Right.
Yes. So outside of the bride with the pool I put in the backyard, he was very, very hesitant. And then about 6 months after we got here, he came up to me and said, "This is the best thing we could have ever done. Like, I have better friends here than I ever had down in St. Charles." And so that made me feel good.
Yeah.
You know, because he was the one that I was really worried about, where my youngest daughter, she's kind of like the mayor of the town and knows
Right.
everybody. So for him to say that, that was really, really special, because I was worried that he was going to have a hard time transitioning.
So tell me about the business.
So Romney Brown Candle Company started in April. After I had lost my job because of COVID, I needed something to do. So I decided that I would open up a candle shop where people could come in. People can buy pre-made candles if they want. We've got people that come in and just say, "I need a birthday present, I need gift cards," or whatever. But the fun part is people can schedule appointments and come in and make their own candles. So we've got probably 60 different jars that they can pick from, and then 70-something scents where they kind of smell the different containers and figure out which 5 they like, and then we will help them mix that into a fragrance of their own. So they'll take 3 of those. We start the blend for them, and it's a little shot glass. You know, you bring your own booze in, or you can we've had birthday parties in here for kids. I had an entire soccer team from Minnesota show up because their game had gotten delayed.
Oh.
So they found me on Google and decided to come here at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So I had a room full of 13-year-old girls making candles. And then when you're finished, you name your candle. So you pick what you want to name it, which is fun too. It's a lot of interacting with people. So
Yeah, it sounds
we
great.
had a great time too.
Great bachelorette party kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, we've had bachelorette parties. I've had almost every hair salon in here. They've brought all their girls in. The entire orthodontist office over here on Slusher came in. There was 30 of them. So they all came in one afternoon at lunchtime. And it's nice because I work with the restaurants too, so the Vine actually catered their lunch. So the Vine kind of worked out with that too.
Which comes back to that whole community thing again as
Exactly.
well. I've never known a downtown where even competing businesses are friends.
Yeah.
Everyone just gets on with each other and wants that business to do well, because if you don't eat here next time, you'll eat here the time after,
Right.
and go and see those guys over here and then come back. It's absolutely crazy,
Yeah.
but I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
As you were creating the store, you used or reused things from the historical district and Grayslake as a wider community. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So I initially was walking down Slusher one day, and a gentleman had taken all these lovely 100-plus-year-old doors and had them on the curb. to get picked up by garbage. So I asked if I could take them, and he said sure. So I initially was going to do something else with them, but when I decided to open the shop, I thought this would be a great way to bring even more of Grayslake into the space. So you'll see things like these doors. I got bored one day and made this little bench out of 2 doors. And then there's windows that kind of separate the 2 spaces. Those are from a lot of the historical homes here as well. And the whole bar top is made out of doors that I found on the curb. There's one door that used to belong to another mayor of Grayslake. So whenever she comes in, she's always like, I want to sit at my door. So she sits at that table, that part of the table. And then, of course, since a lady kind of designed this whole space, we have lots of purse hooks, which are made out of the door knobs from these doors.
That's
so all
genius.
the ladies can hang up their purses. They don't put them on the floor, which is bad luck. And then these are pictures of what the building used to look like back in the horse and buggy day, and most recently when it was Ace Hardware. So it's funny, a lot of people, I would say in their 40s, come in and say they used to work there when they were teenagers. So it's
Because
kind of funny.
no one leaves Grayslake.
Right.
Everyone
Exactly.
stays here.
Exactly.
It's just that kind of town.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier that the farmers market is literally going on to my right at the moment.
Yeah.
This year we've been able to get back to doing all those great events that Grayslake is famous in the local area for.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel about everything that goes on and everything that the village puts on for the community?
They have been doing it. I actually just joined the chamber, so I'm part of the chamber of Grayslake now, and I love where, they're really starting to do a lot more. Like last weekend we had summer days, and then the historical society, they're always doing things. So they're starting to bring a lot more activities in for everybody. They decided, I think it was maybe last month, we had a dance fest down the middle of the street. So they shut down Center Street. The restaurants had tables outside. First Draft came down, they set up a nice little bar area down here for people. So that was something we had never done before, and that actually worked out really well. We do a wine walk. I think it's in May or June. There's a wine walk where the businesses can open up, and then people can come in and grab a little ticket to grab a little glass of wine over at the Twisted Burger parking lot. So they've been doing a lot more to really kind of put Grayslake on the map.
Yeah, it's constant. I mean, we've even got, weather permitting, the balloon festival this weekend. I cannot wait for my 2-year-old to see a hot air balloon take off.
Yeah.
He'll go bananas for it, for sure. So I want to come back to a question I hinted at earlier, actually. As a business moving into Grayslake, obviously you've lived here, so it kind of makes sense from that perspective, but why should a business choose Grayslake to set up their organisation, particularly on Centre Street or in the downtown area?
So when I decided to open this up, I had people from the chamber, I had the gals from next door from the realty office, I had the restaurants. Everybody came and just said, what can we do to help? What can we do to help promote you? How do we get your name out there? So it's just like that. It's Mayberry. It's people are here to help you. They want to help you succeed, because that's just going to help everybody else, like on the strip, succeed, because you're bringing in more businesses and there's more things opening. There's a beer and wine tap place that's opening up across the street. So it's like people are really starting to see, that Grayslake is a place where you could say, hey, I'm going to go to Grayslake for the weekend.
To finish up, where did the name for your business come from?
So the name of my business, Romney Brown, came from my grandpa. So my grandpa came here from Germany when he was 17. He worked at an ice cream parlor. He saved his money, ended up being an apprentice at a knitting mill, and then ended up buying that knitting mill. So that knitting mill was called Romney Knitting Mill. So Romney is a sheep from England, as you probably know.
Yes.
So his company was Romney Knitting Mill. So my company is Romney Brown Candle Company, in honor of my grandpa, because my last name's Brown. And so I thought Romney would go great with that. So
it sounds really sophisticated. It's a really sophisticated name for a really sophisticated business.
Thank you. And then that sweater is the last sample sweater he made in 1963.
Gosh,
so
that's a nice
my
story.
mom gave it to me, and I framed it, and now it's in the shop with us every day.
That's very cool. Well, thank you very much, Patty. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I cannot wait to share this with everyone that kind of mentioned you in my recent Facebook post.